Hi guys, welcome back to another week in my GLP update. Um, I know it's been a little while, and I mean little while because I usually give you a weekly update on my GLP-1 progress and just my overall journey. But I tell you something about life. Regardless of what you intend to do, sometimes life, as I always say, it just happens. And life is life, and sometimes you really don't get an opportunity to do the things that you have put on your agenda, and you have, you know, committed yourself to doing. So bear with me, please forgive me, and I hope my update this week would be sufficient in covering the last couple of weeks that I've been missing. So, for those of you who are new here, welcome. I am Shelly, and this is Conversations with Shelly. And of course, this channel is pretty much concerned about so much, in terms of fun, frolic, serious discussions. And of course, as part of all of this, I've decided to chronicle and share with you my journey on a GLP-1. Now, if you want to know the history, please feel free to go back and watch the videos. I have archived them for you up to this point, particularly when it comes to my GLP-1 update and journey, as the case may be. And for those of you who have been with me for the last couple of weeks, at least 18 weeks, or what am I in now? I'm in week 22. So at least for the last 18 weeks, because I haven't done anything since then, well, of substance since then. Well, come back. So, as I said, I would have done a recent update, but thought it best to just put everything together in terms of a full on, week by week that I have not been very consistent. So, this week's update, which I will be doing in a almost like a amalgamation of 3 weeks. So it's going to be week 19, week 20, and week 21. And as you know, I always give you updates for the previous week for the week that I am currently in. Long story short, I'm in week 22, and I can't believe it when I say that I'm in week 22. It still baffles me immensely having to, look at being on this thing for the last 22 weeks and seeing the changes, going through not only the metabolical change, but also the physical change that is manifesting itself daily. So, again, I am in week 22, and this is as at the 31st of January 2026. I would have started week 22. Of course, today is the 1st of February 2026, but as you know, I normally take my medication or my shot on the Saturday. So yesterday being the 31st of January would have been my week 22. However, I'm not going to spend too much. I'm not going to camp out too much on week 22 because week 22 update will come in week 23, right? So let us go and look at what happened between week 19 and week 21. Now, guys, I always have my trizepatide journal. I always tell you about it simply because when you're doing something new for the first time, or when you're at least embarking on a journey that is quite a new frontier, and you want to ensure that you're capturing and you are ensuring that you are detailing the things that are important, the things that are critical for you to note, those noticeable mentions, those things that you want to be reminded of. I always say ensure that you're recording them in some way, shape, or another. Now, I am old school. So even though I have the smartphones and this and that, nothing beats my pen and paper, right? So I have my journal, and what I did is week on week I record things, but when I give my varying week updates, I summarize it in my book here. Can you imagine? Anyway, so let us begin. As I said, this is my week 19 to week 21 update. So week 19 for me started on the 10th of January 2026, and it ended on the 16th of January 2026. Now on week 19, I would have started my start weight would have been 160.8. The sad reality about it, and it's not really sad because, as I said, with these medications and these protocols that we go through, there are going to be days when you're going to stall. And I'm going to give you a little insight into what a stall is versus, what else is maybe happening. So it's a little bit daunting for me because normally up to this point, I was losing weight weekly. However, I hit my 7.5 dose and my weight loss somewhat slowed down, or it plateaued, or I had stalls. But one of the beautiful things about these types of protocol is that you may not be experiencing a scale victory, but as you know, we talk about in this community, you experience what is called a non-scale victory. So there have been non-scale victories for me. All in all, week 19, we started on the 10th and ended on the 16th. I started at 160 and I ended at 160. So despite my increased dose from 5 milligrams to 7.5, there was no scale loss, no loss weight in terms of the scale. But of course, we speak about those non-scale victories where you have losses in inches and all these collarbones and stuff start to come in, blood glucose levels going down, all those inflammation, all those things that are causing you to feel ill, you start to see those happening and those changes taking place. So, what are some of the side effects that were evident within week 19? Now, I want to mention one that is very pointing, and this one caught me by semi surprise. I'm going to say semi surprise because, as I mentioned, I know of when I did my research into GLP-1s and Monjoro and all of that, I knew what the side effects were, the GI intestinal effects, the non-GI ones, the side effects that are good and the side effects that are bad. Because one of the things we need to always remind this community is that side effects don't always mean that you're experiencing bad side effects. You have side effects that are good side effects. For example, you know, for me, one of my good side effects was having better skin, and I'll speak about that at some point in time. Not that I had very bad skin. If you know, you know. I didn't have bad skin, but of course, there's always something that can help you to glow up, and this is one of the medications that also assisted me in that, along with the GHKCU peptide. We'll talk about that as well. Anyway, so noticeable side effects, severe hair loss. Now, guys, as I said, I knew one of the side effects of going on a GLP-1, be it a branded version or a compounded version, would have been some amount of hair loss. The thing for me is that what happens in my body may not happen in your body, and that is one of the things that is important about just having general knowledge about GLP-1s and how they are affecting you. Now, I want to pause here just to say I am not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. All I'm doing is giving you my experience, my hopes for this thing, my desire, and the outcome and my results. That's all I'm doing. So don't take this as gospel. More so, gospel to lead your own life and your own experience. This is just my experience. This is what I've gone through, and just take it as a guide. But always speak with your medical doctor, your medical provider, whosoever is assisting you along this way medically, right? So, as I said, severe hair loss. Now, I knew about hair loss going on these medications, and one of the reasons for it is not the medication itself, and that is very important for you to understand. It's not about the medication itself, it is more so the nutrients that your body is being depleted of, which is why you have to maintain some amount of caloric um, rich diet. So, even though these medications tend to slow down your digestion and they stop the food noise and allow you to be able to eat sensibly. Well, allow you to, at the very least, not crave food that you would otherwise crave just by seeing it. Yeah. You have to be mindful that every bite should count when it comes to these medication, because your brain and your gut, they're having a conversation that is saying, I'm not hungry. And when I am hungry, I can only eat what is really supposed to make me feel full. And when I am full, I'm full for a longer period of time. So digestion takes slowly to happen. So you don't want to be putting stuff in your body that is of no nutritional value. If it is that, it's going to take you such a long time for it to be digested for you to want something else. So every bite counts. It is important for you to get in those nutritional values. No, that is the cause for the hair loss because your hair, the follicles that your hair are connected to, or the foundation, the root, the I want to say the soil needs to be properly nourished. And if it is that the soil is not properly nourished, what will happen is that the thing that is supposed to be growing from that soil is weak. So the moment you start to wash your hair, comb your hair, twist your hair, plait your hair, whatever it is, it's going to be so weak that it's going to just naturally just shed. And that is one of the things that has happened to me, particularly so as I have titrated to 7.5, which is increasing the dose of the medication, which means that I am now eating far less than I was before. My brain is not telling me when I'm hungry. And while this is a double-edged sword, because for persons who suffer from obesity, you don't know when you're hungry from when you're not hungry. You just see food and you just eat food and you just always on a seafood diet. You just see the food and you eat it. We Jamaicans know what that is, yeah? Right. So for me, I increased my dose and my ability to identify when I'm hungry went into complete overdrive. Like I didn't know when I was hungry. And if I didn't become the adult that I hope to become, because I'm still trying to achieve adulthood. I'm still a 9-year old, yeah. Um, I have to remind myself that I have to eat. And that is one of the things about being on a GLP-1 that is very important, realizing that you're an adult and you have to know when that time comes when you say, hey, I haven't eaten from morning. What have I drank from morning? And you do the right thing. So because of life and, having a hectic, work schedule and you're just going through your day, for me particularly, I forgot about eating. So of course, this is going to impact my hair follicle. So on the increased dose, which is assisting me in telling my brain and my gut, hey, you're not hungry, move on. That was what I was doing. And by the end of the week, my hair was just shedding crazy. I literally was like, oh my God. And I think I would have shared just a few, right? So I would have shared, and I don't know if you're able to see, but the shedding actually started from the edges. So I completely lost a patch of hair somewhere here. The good thing about it though is that I took immediate steps to remedy it. I called my provider, I called my doctor, I said, listen, what is going on? I knew this was supposed to happen. Can I put something in my body? Can I do something topical, whatever? And this was when I was recommended to minoxidil. It was prescribed. I also did my over-the-counter remedies for hair loss, which is, your Mary's Ruth hair vitamin, topping up on those vitamins to get in those things to help with the lack of shedding. If you notice, it's not happening as much on this side. I think you will see I have full hair here, but of course a little thin patch here. Guys, it is what it is. Um, right. So being on that, have gotten a couple prescriptions for that. Was also recommended GHKCU, which is a copper peptide, which is known to assist in rejuvenation of the skin and hair follicles and all of that. Right now, I'm on a topical GHKCU. I may be saying that wrong, but yeah. Trying to get something that is not topical, but everything that I have been looking at is not good for human consumption. And from it not good for human consumption, as she said, stay away from it because it's still in trial phase, it's still a test, and me not really go dab it in and not know it's still a test. Yeah. So hair loss, severe hair loss on these things, start to hit them from day one. Don't wait like me until you get to the point where you're actually seeing, guys, just adjusting myself. Don't wait until you get to the point where I got when the hair was literally falling out in my hand that I said, oh my God, this is real. I knew it was real. I just didn't think it would have happened so soon. I don't even think it's so soon because it's like 5 months on this thing. But the point I'm making is there is always something that can remedy what you are what is happening to you. I see I'm very conscious of it, but it is what it is, as I said, guys. So tackle these things from you start a GLP-1. Understand what the side effects are. Start to do your own due diligence into what it is that needs to be done in order to get things done. And handle your business. Triangle the thing. As the Gen Z say. Another side effect that I noticed was insomnia. No, I was never somebody that slept. Literally, from ever since I was in law school, whenever I was in corporate, 9 to 5 corporate, I always was that girl who just never slept. There was always something on my mind that I needed to do, something urgent, something pressing, and I was always up on the laptop or something. So insomnia was part of my DNA. Insomnia is part of my DNA. Let me just keep the tense clear. But when I tell you my insomnia went into overdrive, like me barely I get no sleep though. Barely I get no sleep. Is it affecting me functionally? Absolutely not. I don't know how to explain the inconsistency with that. But to be operating on no sleep and still being able to function every day, same way like nothing, has to be some of the things that have been added to my medication, such as B12 or B6 or something has been added to it. And I'm not asking, I'm telling that something was added. I don't know what one of the vitamins, I don't want to call it wrong one. I think it's B12 that gives you energy. But for somebody who barely get no sleep, she have energy insurmountable. Me don't know where it come from. It must be some superhuman something. Maybe some X-Men gene. Hmm. I don't know. But guys, it don't affect my energy level. The insomnia. But the insomnia is real. I'm up all night. I wonder when me I go get catch a little night rest. Yeah? Then the third side effect on being 7.5 in week 19. Extreme cold, chills and spells. Guys, me always cold. Now, for those of you who know me, like real grassroots people who know me ever at, from me born me in a menopause, at, me always a fan, always a drink water, me always a at. Since I've been on GLP-1, more so 7.5 titrated, more so week 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Me cold constantly. I research it, of course, because she's a girl, she's going to research everything underneath the sun. When I research it, I got to find out that my thermal fat has been reduced. And what does that mean? It means that I don't have nobody insulation. All of the fatness that used to keep me warm, gone. Gone, gone, gone. So me constantly cold. Me just a walking cold. Me just cold. All when sun a burn out a door, me a burn, me a freeze. Guys, your internal fat or thermal fat as they call it. I don't think it's visceral fat, but it's part of the visceral fat depletion, I mean reduction. But when me tell you, I'm constantly cold. Sometimes me I wonder, me I say, this is how I knew this was a side effect. Whenever I am in my car, my AC is on blast. Like I drive with my AC at the top, coldest of cold, with all the vents open. And I've not been able to do that in weeks. Now I know there's a cold front going on and all the breeze from New York and North Carolina and everywhere else is coming down to the Florida and to the other rest of places, but that not have nothing to do with when me I feel. Me just I feel one cold and normal. My body not used to it. And for the amount of time me dep on God's green earth for, me would have know when cold front I make me cold. And a cold front my front is cold. There's a cold front. There's a cold front going on. But still, none of that make me cold. The thermal something was a very good explanation. It explained it properly as to why it is that I'm constantly feeling these cold spells or these cold chills. Do I mind them? Maybe not. It's not the worst thing to report in terms of side effects. I said your last business that have me I go twip twip. Yeah, the ear last something that have me I go twip twip. But the cold spells, it's manageable. You throw on something warm. You try to keep yourself insulated. You lose your natural insulation. It is what it is. What is the plus side of losing your natural insulation? Couple collarbones and good glucose levels. Appetite suppression, my satiety. Guys, week 19, me don't want to eat nothing. Nothing at all. Me tell you, no, me just, and that's why the ear I go, because she not eat nothing. Is it good? No. Because you're supposed to eat on these medications. And this is what the responsible adult in you should be doing. Don't be like me, who work, 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 and at the end of the day, she say, wait, what have I had from morning and it's now 9 o'clock at night? Not good. Not recommended. Yeah? Not a 10 out of 10. This is not recommended. But the appetite suppression is real. The society is real. Very little to eat. And when I do eat, is sometimes not the best things. You're supposed to get your water intake. You're supposed to get your protein, at least 150 grams of protein by natural organic means. If you can't and you have to have a protein shake, just get the proteins in to maintain the hair follicles and to maintain the skin and to ensure that you don't lose too much of the fat in your face so you start to look skeleton and all of that. Now that is what they call Ozempic face and the Ozempic look. And we know quite a lot of celebrities who, yeah, she not try live that life, yeah? She not try live that skeleton look. So me I go behave myself and me I go try getting back my 100 gram of protein and my water and me I go try, yeah, to do the protein something for week 22. I'm committed. Energy, I told you, through the roof, having severe amount of energy. Another side effect is dry mouth, hydration. As I say, hydration is very important to not only to this protocol, but also you need to keep yourself hydrated. I have not been having a lot of hot or cold beverage, which is again another not recommended thing. Not trying to tell you. Walk with your Stanley Cup. Walk with your 30, 40 old Stanley Cup and try doing it at daytime because you need the water. You need to be hydrated. You need to be on your hydration. Your hydration level needs to be high. And increase your protein. Those were some of the things that I had that happened to me that I needed to, you know, find myself back into. Now that was week 20. That was week 19. Now week 20. Now week 20 marked my 5 month milestone, which I was very excited about when I looked at the fact that I've been on this thing for 5 months on the 17th of January 2026. I started on August 18th, right? And the 5 months, a combination of Monjora plus compound trizepatide. And I would have done something on that, but I will also do a review of what my compound trizepatide journey has been like. But I started week 20 on the 17th, it lasted until the 23rd of January, and my start weight at that time was 158.8. Now, if you remember, I ended week 19 at 160.8. Guys, you know how it go. Yeah, our phone always a ring. Out on weekend. The work just work, right? So, I would have ended week 19 at 160.8. No weight loss, at least no noticeable weight loss. The scales remain the same for the entire 7 days. However, on the very next day, I lost 2 pounds. When I stepped on that scale, the day that I took my shot, I was 158.8. No, again, it seems as if the weight loss is slowing down and it is now happening obviously weekly. Because I also went through week 20 at the same weight, 158.8 for the entire 7 days. And yes, there were non-scale victories. As I said, I am now fitting into maybe like a size 8 pants and maybe a medium top, which is freaking crazy, guys. And my blood glucose level is like 5.2, 5.4. My LDL and LDL, those cholesterol things, awesome. Still on the 7.5 dose. The side effects that of week 19 remain for week 20. Nothing changed. Cold spell, hair loss, all of that remained the same. As I said, the weight loss for the week um, was very slow, if at all. Still, I stuck on the same weight for the entire week, which is I ended week 20, which was on the 23rd of January at 158.8. So week 21. Week 21, I started on the 24th of January 2026 and it lasted until the 30th of January 2026, which was Friday gone. I started at 158.8 and I ended the week 21 at the same weight. So I've been on the same I've been at the same weight for the last 2 weeks, which is 158.8. Now, let me tell you what is tricky about this thing. There are days that are in between. Now, guys, I'm giving you an average. There are days in between week 19 and week 20 that I went as low down as 153. But wake up the next morning, right back to 158, or wake up a couple mornings later, back to 158. Now, this is what happens when your body is trying to find a regulatory point, your set point. Although there's this thing that Oprah talks about set point, and people question whether or not there is such a thing as a set point. So my body at this point in time is trying to find that set point. So it is tethering between 153 and 158. And girl, that's a whole 5 pound that me don't know what me can't account for it because I haven't done anything to cause an increase. I sure certainly should have been losing because as me tell you, she not eat. But it is what it is. I just have to report in on what is happening. Still on the same 7.5. Side effects are the same. Nothing really has changed. And we are going through. Now, the reason why I wanted to make it averaging out in terms of what my weight loss is been um, is because I want to let you understand that there is something to be said about a plateau. No, I don't think I've plateaued quite yet because when I looked at what the definition of a plateau is, and I've spoken to my provider, they indicated to me that this is a period of at least 1 to 4 weeks when you have no physical weight loss on the scale. There's no change in the scale for at least a period of 4 weeks. Now, this would have been just the second week of my remaining the same. So I don't think I need to talk about any plateaus or any stalls quite yet. I think my body is just finding that regulatory weight that it thinks it need to be at in order to make this make sense. What I will do, I'll do a part two to this, but I would have just given you a run through of weeks 19 to week 21. What I will do is I will now tell you the entire journey of my 5 months on both branded and compound trizepatide and where I have landed in terms of my next step for maintenance or where I want to land in terms of a goal weight. So, see you on part two of this week 19 to week 21 update. Please come back, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of the things that the YouTube people themselves must do. Guys, I'm just here. Stressful life, and I just want to have fun on here. Hope you will have fun with me. Okay, until I see you in part two, which is coming right up after this, stick and stay.